Later, the elders started teaching us under the trees about Latin and numbers. And it was the volunteer job. They don't have no books and we don't have any classes. So they just started thinking that education will be the best for us. I remember my first blackboard was a box from where the UNs were bringing food with, and it was just split into half and was nailed on the tree, and they were using charcoal to write on because we didn't have chalk by that time. So they have to use burnt charcoal from the wood to write on the board. And my first notebook was me writing letters and numbers on the ground with my hand. Four years later, we were forced at gunpoint to flee from Ethiopia back into Sudan. Now, after the several days of walking, we had to cross the Gilo River for the second time. We all gathered there and waited to cross the river. And the enemy started shooting on us. And everybody was forced to jump into the river. I was glad that I could swim. I dove into the water as deep as I could go. And I started coming out on the top of the water and swim on the bodies and the crocodiles in the river until I got to the other side and started running and running and running. Now, those of us who survived, we were brought into a small town in Sudan, and we were kept there for a while. And we had attacked. This is where some of the teachers, all of the teachers were trying to protect us. One teacher was trying to defend us. He commanded us to lay down, and he stood before the enemy with a stone and stick. He was killed. The teachers were always the first victim. Now the elders decided we should journey to Kenya for safety. It took us a year to get to Kenya, and we were constantly attacked because people believe that a child boy can become a soldier and an enemy. When we got into Kenya, and we have to start from zero in a refugee camp, there was only one doctor to take care of thousands of people. And many died before they could see him. The locals around the camp in Kenya had less than we had, but they had guns, and they want what we had. They would kill for proudness to show that they could. I stayed in Kenya for 9 years. Here my brother left me alone in the camp. I later learned that he became a soldier. Another boy, too soon, a soldier. Eventually we had schools, and that's when I learned English. The first word I learned in English was hello, and the first sentence I learned in English was how are you? I went from a boy to a man. I was now 21 years old, and the UN now is talking about bringing the orphan boys to US. I found my new home in Denver, Colorado. All this time, I didn't know anything about my home or my parents. One time, a friend in Colorado told me about Dinka tribe, which is my tribe, on the internet. It's come on the screen, a picture of my father. Later, I learned my father died and my mother is still alive. I was able to go back to see my mother after 20 years. When she first saw me, she grabbed me and she sang me a lullaby. And a lullaby goes like this. Kora chamdao, chamdao gatu, kora chamdao, chamdao, kora chamdao, chamdao gatu. Kedia na warachat, kedia na ronganyadi, kedia, kora chamdao, chamdao gatu, kora chamdao. That lullaby means Khor is my name that they give to me before I became Isaac. And that means a lion. She was telling me that I have been so brave. And she was very excited to see me back again after 20 years. When shall I see my home again? When shall I see my beautiful land? I will never forget my home. My father is there, my mother is there, my brother is there, and sister is there. When shall I see my home again? When shall I see my beautiful land? I will never forget Sudan. Untungi avande avia takira lor kubeni elerin bla tamane chal ay maralin kakir tamane chal ay maralin kakir anararo du marara kir lala anararo du Anararo du manawa kira lala, anararo du yanya biyam tangin, anararo du. Untungi avande aviyam takira lal kubeni elerin bla, tamane chal. Anararo du marara kira lala, anararo du. Anararo du manawa kira lala, anararo du yanya biyam tangin, anararo du manawa kira lala, anyane chal panam. Ende biye dunen ka dua lu dai manari kaki, ende biye dunen ka dua lu dai manari kaki, anyane chal. Ende biye dunen ka dua lu dai manari kaki, anyane chal.